So I just bought 7 pounds worth of silver. This box actually weighs in at 7 pounds and 6 ounces, but I'm sure there's a few ounces of packaging weight, but definitely a lot of silver in this little box, which I'm actually really excited to open up. And I hope you guys join me to see what's inside this box, because we're going to talk about what's inside of this box and also why these last couple of weeks, with silver really skyrocketing and looking very strong, why I'm cautiously optimistic about the price going up. Now, of course, and being completely honest, I'm not 100% thrilled about the price of silver going up, because I still want to stack more. I still want to add more silver to my permastack. And if I only had a couple of $100s to spend on silver, I would rather that couple of $100s buy me more silver than less. So as the price goes up, that couple of $100s buys me less silver, just like it buys less food today than it did a couple of years ago, you know, so on and so forth. But let's get this box open and show you what's inside, and then talk about what's going on with silver and why maybe I even FOMO'd into buying a little bit more silver than I do as the price goes up. So let's do it. But before we do, I do want to remind you that my channel is sponsored by SD Bullion. You guys should definitely go over there right now and check out the giveaway that they're doing for this year, which is a full monster box of their 1 ounce silver trio live coins. These things are beautiful. They've been doing monster box giveaways every single year. It's free to sign up. I'll put a link down below. Get over there today and do it. Don't wait so you don't forget, even though you have plenty of time left this year. So let's go ahead and get this open, and we'll start by showing you what's inside of the box. So we're gonna go ahead and cut right down here. All right. And you can see there's a lot of rolls of 90% silver. So now that I got the bag out of the box and I kind of sorted it out here, you can kind of see what's inside. We have a bunch of tubes of silver. Now, whenever I normally order 90% silver like this, it generally comes in bags of separated face value. So a bag of $10 face value, or a bag of $20, or a bag of $50 face value. And it's just, you know, in a little Ziploc baggie, it's marked with what it is. This is different. These came in tubes, some rolls. And the reason for that is I did not order these from a dealer, but rather these are ones that I bought off of one of my subscribers who needed the money to buy something else. And while he did pick a kind of a good time to sell, he also kind of sold a little bit early. And this is not his fault or my fault. I absolutely could have bought these and the price went down. But between now and when I bought these, the silver prices went up a couple of bucks. When I bought these, melt was around 18 times. Today, melt is it's not quite there, but today melt is closing in on $20 per dollar. So the value of these has went up quite a bit between when I paid for them and when I actually received them. And what I actually have in here, you know, the 7 pounds of silver, as I said I ordered, is $152.05 of face value. Now, how that equates to actual silver melt, well, if you take $152.05, multiply it by 0.715, because that's how much silver roughly is in $1 of face value, you will see that is how much silver that I actually have here. So you can determine, you know, what the value is based on the silver price and the weight. And we'll probably weigh like some of the stuff just to kind of give you an idea, and I'll show you the math. So stick with me if you want to see that. Basically, I'll take, you know, $10 face value, I'll put it on a scale, and then I'll multiply that by 0.715, and you'll see how much silver is actually there. So let's keep pulling these out. And while we're pulling them out, I'll talk about what's going on with silver. Like I had mentioned, I bought this from him, and silver continues to go up. And even today, even though it's up, not at least as I'm recording this, the market has been moving very quickly. But at least as I'm recording this, even today it's up, although not up near as much as some of the other movements that you have seen this last week and a half or two. It's only up about 10-20 cents this morning. But it's still up again. It's not down. You know, many people predict that, you know, after a couple of strong weeks, you're going to see it pull back. And that hasn't happened. And I think that's creating... Oh, well, we got an end of stream giveaway. Thank you so much for sending me that as well. That'll be for one of my future streams. Anyway, I think that's creating a lot of excitement around silver right now, because unlike last year, let's compare right now what silver's doing to last year. Right now, silver is actually higher than it was, say, March, April, May of 2023, but the premiums back then were much higher. So you are paying more for silver today than you were a few months ago, but you're paying way less for silver today than you were paying back in March, April, May 2023, even though the spot price was lower. That's creating a lot of excitement around getting in the physical silver. But one thing it hasn't done, and we'll go ahead and start opening these, one thing it hasn't done is it hasn't started to equate into higher premiums yet, because there, believe it or not, even with the higher prices and the excitement that we're seeing around silver, there is a lot less demand for physical silver than there was last year. And I have a feeling that I know why. The reason that is because last year, March, April, May, when everybody was excited about silver because of the banking failures, man, this is a slick one right there. When everyone was excited about silver during the banking failures, we had a lot of people get into silver and get burned. Those people are not coming back. In fact, I still see comments on my channel from some of those people who got in silver. Let's move these out of the way. Some of those people who got into silver during that time that are waiting for silver to get back to a point to where they can exit. Now, those people are not stacking for the same reasons I am, and I am not judging their reason for stacking. Because, in my opinion, you stack silver, the reason you want to stack silver, as long as you're stacking silver, in my opinion, you're still doing a good thing. But many of those people got into silver so that they can make more money, and it did not happen, right? So they put their money into all the silver. They did it at a very high premium. Spot did not go up like they expected it to because of the bank failures. Actually, spot went down. The premiums disappeared, and they were underwater on all the silver they bought. And they look at it as, I've seen someone say, it's one of the worst investments I've made in the last 10 years. And if you use the word investment, you're probably right, especially if you bought it last year, March, April, May. You're still probably underwater on a lot of that silver if you pay those incredibly high premiums, which is why back then, I'd said so many times on my channel back then, especially for Silver Eagles, that I was being very cautious about the silver that I was buying. I was buying silver at a much slower pace. I was being very picky about what I bought. I wasn't just going out and buying Eagles and high premium stuff. And, you know, I'm talking about for stacking. Obviously, collecting is different. I still, to this day, I still buy high premium collectibles. But as far as stacking is concerned, when you're going out and buying, you know, your large amounts of silver, I was looking for cheap deals on 1 ounce rounds, 10 ounce bars, you know, so on and so forth. And I was even then, you know, with that, I was being very cautious about what I bought. I was looking for the deals. I was looking for the specials, and I was trying to take advantage of everything that I could to get a lower number, a lower overhead, if you will, or a lower cost, dollar cost average, if that's how you want to look at it, into my stack. Many people last year didn't do that. And that can be attested for by the fact that a ton of Silver Eagles were selling last year. Now, I had talked about this on the channel many times, but the premiums on things like these Silver Eagles last year, I mean, there were some retailers approaching over, you know, basically double spot. Like silver was $22.23, the premium was $22.23. You were paying double spot price for a Silver Eagle. Today, with silver sitting at $27.50 or so, even if you sold these for a couple of dollars over spot, even if you got a couple dollars over spot, let's say you got $30 a piece for these, you're still way underwater on those Silver Eagles that you bought last year, because those premiums, like I had already said, disappeared, right? Those premiums are gone, and silver spot did not go up the way some people thought they were expecting it to. I specifically was telling people not to buy Silver Eagles. I'm like, look, and keep in mind, like when I tell someone to do something or not to do something, it's just opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't own a crystal ball. I know many people think they do. I get comments from people all the time saying, oh, silver. I actually got a comment from someone earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, whatever, saying that, you know, by the end of this week, silver is going to be over $40 an ounce. I mean, okay, what brand of crystal ball do you have? Because I don't have it. But my point is I knew that paying double spot for a Silver Eagle was a bad idea. And so I was telling people, I am not buying Silver Eagles at that high premium, right? And so, like I'd already said, I was looking for those deals. But those people that were not, those people last year that were, you know, getting into silver, that were creating a shortage. And keep in mind, when I say shortage, all right, there was no shortage of silver. There was a shortage of manufactured, and this was actually echoed by Josh from Bullion on Friday's video. You should go see it. Great interview. If you haven't seen that yet, go watch it. Put it on play and listen in the background. You don't really need to look at the screen. But he echoed this. He said that there wasn't a shortage of silver. There was a shortage of readily available, deliverable silver. In other words, refined rounds, bars, 90% silver, whatever it was. There was, in fact, a quote-unquote shortage of that type of silver available for people to buy, stack, or invest. So in other words, the silver itself existed to meet demand. There just wasn't enough manufacturing to meet the demand. They could not produce it into rounds, bars, or whatever fast enough for the people that were wanting to buy it, which is why you saw the premiums go up to the way they did, and which is why you saw a lot of people that were paying double to get silver because they couldn't find anywhere else to get it cheaper. To sum up that part of the story, those people are not interested in stacking silver today. because they are still burning from what happened last year, and I get it, which is why even though you're seeing the spot price go up and there's a lot of excitement around silver, right now we have a lower demand for physical silver. As a result, there is plenty of available silver to be delivered, and as a result, the premiums are much lower, which is why right now I am cautiously optimistic for silver. I am now buying silver. Again, personal opinion, you do what you want. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do, but I am heavily buying silver this year where I wasn't last year with those premiums down. I'm still looking for the deals. I'm still looking for things like this where I could buy a personal deal with another person and get a little bit better of a price on it. I was able to buy these at melt price, and today that melt price is higher because the silver prices went up. But regardless of that, I was able to buy these at melt price because of that. So look, if you're going to continue to buy silver with the prices going up, just do your best to look for great deals that you can get more silver for your cash. If you have $500 to spend on silver, make sure you get as much silver as you can for that money. And again, I'm not talking about collectibles. I am a collector. So if I see a really beautiful piece that is like $55 an ounce and it's 2 ounces and it's $110, I'm like, oh, I don't have that yet. I want to look at it. I'll probably buy it, but I'll only buy one for my stack. I'll only buy one for my stack or my collection. You don't stack that. You don't buy 20 of those. You don't spend all $500 on that. You then go out and spend the rest of your money that you're going to put into silver, not all of your money, but the rest of the money that you were going to buy in silver. You buy your collectible, and then you buy low premium silver to lower that cost average down and actually make the amount per ounce that you spent on the overall a lot lower, so that it doesn't have to go up as far if you were to want to sell in the future and get your money back. Assuming that you want to even turn your silver into fiat currency at all, because many people are not even interested in turning their silver back into fiat currency, which I totally get. My deep stack, the silver that I put aside that I intend to do nothing with but hold till hopefully I die, that stuff, I just want to put as much into that pile as I can. I have 2 stacks of silver. I have my deep stack and I have my light stack. My light stack is the stuff that I'll trade, I'll barter with, I'll sell, whatever. But I have a deep stack. Once a silver coin or a silver round or a silver bar or whatever it is, once it hits my deep stack, it doesn't move. You may as well consider it gone. That's what I do with my deep stack. All right, so we should have 152.05 here. I'm not going to do all of that on the camera, but I did say that we would do some weights and measurements with 90% silver for you so you can see how this works out. So let's grab our scale. So I want to show you with some average circulation, and we'll give you an example with this one right here, these right here, how much silver is actually in our $10 face value. So let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have $10 face value of 90% silver quarters. You can see definitely average circulation. You have some that are worn down more than others, like that one right there. We're going to put it on a scale and see what it weighs. We have it on ounces troy. It is teared out to 0. We have 7.965 ounces. So we'll grab our calculator and we'll take 7.965. Now this is 90% silver. So to remove the 10% copper, we just need to simply take it and times it by 0.9. And you can see it comes out to 7.1685 ounces. Remember how I said 90% silver on average is 0.715 ounces per dollar? Well, here's the exact math to show you that is exactly how it worked out, even with those worn pieces. Because remember, with 90% silver, the actual weight for a brand new silver coin off of the line is more than 0.715. It's 0.723 or something like that, right? So it's actually, the 0.715 actually is used in industry as a standard to account for wear on the coins. So it did in fact come out to 7.15 ounces, and I'll show you. We'll do it one more time before we finish out the video. Here's $5 worth of dimes. At least I'm assuming that this is a full roll. If it's not a full roll, we'll find out pretty quickly when I put this other one on. $10 worth of dimes. You can see this $10 worth of dimes is 7.94 ounces. We take 7.94 times 0.9 to remove the 10% copper. And you can see right here, we have 7.146. So rounded up, it's still 7.15 ounces. So even with dimes, and there's definitely some heavily circulated dimes in this pile here, it still came out to 0.715. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that merc. That thing is really worn. So there is some silver loss with heavily worn silver. There's no question about it. No one's ever said that there's not, which is why 0.715 is used for standard industry calculations of 90%. It generally works out unless something is so slick, unless you have a roll of quarters that is like half the size like this. If this was only half full because the quarters were so slick, then you have an issue where you really need to look at it by weight. But for standard circulation, 7.715 ounces per dollar, 7.15 ounces per $10, you get the idea. Easy math to figure out how much actual silver you have. So our $152.05 in face value times 0.715 means that we have right here about 108.7 ounces of silver, and I picked it up at $18 per face value. So if you take 152.05 times 18, I paid $27.36 for it. Right now you can see spot is $27.69 ask, $27.59 bid on Kitco. I know it's different elsewhere, but let's take a look at that math. So if we take our 108.7 ounces and we multiply it by current spot by 27.69, you can see we actually come up to $3,010. So just because spot went up, if we subtract the $27.36.90, just because spot went up since I ordered this, it has increased in value of $273, which is pretty significant if you think about it for just a week and a half or so since I made this deal. That's pretty crazy. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned a little bit about my thoughts on what's going on with silver, plus also had some fun looking at some 90% that I just picked up. I'm going to go through these and just open these up and make sure there's nothing special there. I'm sure there's really not, because this guy is just a stacker. He knows what he's buying. But I really do appreciate you joining me. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.